Hi, this is Jerry Edmon, and this is Success in Life. Just a few words today about honor, achieving and retaining honor. You want honor? You're going to have to be honorable. I want to tell you a story today about a great golfer. His name was Bobby Jones. It's amazing how that in 1925, over 90 years ago, an act of honor and ethics were performed, and we're still talking about it today. Bobby Jones calls a penalty on himself at the 1925 U.S. Open. He called a stroke on himself because of his strong values. And by the way, he lost the match by, you guessed it, one stroke. I want to tell you how it happened. At the 1925 U.S. Open, Bobby Jones moved his ball slightly while setting up for a shot. Nobody saw it. But Jones was adamant that the ball had moved, and he assessed himself a one-stroke penalty, costing him the win. Bobby Jones was an amazing man, and he is one of the greatest golfers of his or any era, winning 13 major championships in just 20 attempts. Even though he retired from tournament golf at the young age of 28, Jones, who always retained his amateur status, is regarded as one of the best players to ever compete in this sport. Bobby Jones could well be the game's ultimate icon. He's renowned for his remaining an amateur, but also for accomplishing the game's ultimate feat, which was winning the Grand Slam in 1930. This latter feat is looked on by many as the event that carried Jones up on the shoulders of public consciousness. But in reality, an incident from 5 years prior did as much to promote this legend as anything he ever did in his career. Jones had his moment that set him apart. We all have our moment. But this was Bobby Jones' moment. Let me just tell you how it happened. It was his first round. He landed in the left rough. It was a par 4 on the 11th hole. He was paired with Walter Hagen, and it was time for him to hit. So he was addressing the ball, and suddenly, as he was addressing the ball, he backed off. He said that the ball had inadvertently moved at address, and he was going to assess himself a penalty stroke in accordance with the rules of golf. The rules officials weighed in, even surveying members of the gallery to ascertain if anybody had seen the ball move. They were asking everybody. But ultimately, a determination outside Jones himself could not be made that any infraction had occurred. Nobody saw a thing. So rules officials in Hagen begged Jones not to assess the penalty. They said, come on, man, you don't need to do this. But Jones would have no part of it. He would finish his first round posting a score of 77, which was well off of his pace. Jones would battle back through oppressively hot and humid weather with rounds of 70, 70, and 74 to remarkably find himself atop the leaderboard at the end of regulation play with a man by the name of Willie McFarlane. He was a journeyman professional originally from Scotland. After 18 holes, the two golfers once again found themselves tied. And that was uncharted territory for the USGA at that time. So the committee quickly decided that they needed to play another 18 holes. After 35 playoff holes, the two golfers still came in on the 18th hole, still tied. McFarlane's second shot safely found the top of the two-tiered green, leaving him in a position to make a par. Knowing he needed a birdie to win, Jones attempted to hit his approach shot from the right rough, and unfortunately, his strategy was a little bit too aggressive, and his shot came to rest near the front bunker. From there, he'd hit a remarkable recovery shot, and it was only 5 feet from the pin. If he converted that putt, well, they'd once again be tied. But it wasn't to be. To the astonishment of the gallery, Jones missed that crucial putt, and the 1925 U.S. Open would belong to Willie McFarlane by the margin of one stroke. As a result, Jones' self-assessed one-stroke penalty in the first round took on major significance, but would catapult him to a position of natural stature, which was something rather rare for golfers at that time. As Jones possessed the mental capacity to match his skill with the golf club, his passion to adhere to the game's principles, and his own integrity were illustrated in his post-round comments when the press asked him about that penalty that he had given himself. They praised him for his honesty, and Jones just kind of blew him off, countering, "You might as well praise a man for not robbing a bank." Isn't that amazing? Okay, now, that's the story. Let's talk about you. You have to make the decision as to what kind of a man or woman that you are. Honor doesn't come easy. You earn it under difficult situations. You keep your word, you're faithful, You don't compromise your values, even if it costs you everything. So in a world where people lie so easily, can you hold your standard when the pressure's on? Because I'm just telling you something. If you can, history will remember you with honor. And that's what I call success in life. Go for it.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast about success in life. If you would like more information about this subject or other materials or resources offered by Jerry Edmon, please go to www.jerryedmon.com.